Coach, Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill. Kick us off.
Michael, that's ending in defeat, but that must be a performance you can take a lot from.
Yeah, we were. I thought we showed a lot tonight. We had to, obviously, against a very strong team. We knew what type of game it would be, particularly losing the goal so early, which I thought we showed a really good reaction to. And I felt we were well in the game at 60, 65 minutes. We had to. I think if we could have, we talked about prior to the game, we talked about trying to play the game in 15-minute sections, and if we could have got through to that final 15 minutes with the score still as it was, I think we possibly may have got an opportunity ourselves. Obviously, then the game becomes more difficult for the German players. You could sense that the crowd were getting a little bit, I suppose there was a little bit, they weren't happy with what they were seeing in the stadium. We had, I think, limited them to quite a few chances, defended the game well, and I thought we carried a threat at times as well. So there was a lot of things for us to be positive about, but it's hard to see that at the minute because I think the overriding emotion is disappointment because we had the opportunity to maybe take more than we did.
You mentioned that early goal. I guess that was always fear falling behind early on, but the response was excellent.
Yeah, it was always the fear. And look, when we look back on the goals tonight, we'll be disappointed. I thought the first goal, we need to deal with that ball better in the middle of the pitch, and it drops, and very quickly one pass and Gnabry's in for a 1v1 with the goalkeeper. The second goal is a little bit fortuitous. It's not really. It's just a ball that's played in the box. Again, we should defend it better, and between the bounce of the ball, it catches out. Our two centre-backs and the goalkeeper, and it's an easy finish. The third goal is an amazing goal, unbelievable free kick, but it's not a free kick. It's not a free kick at all. And I thought second half, the referee was a little bit fussy, and certainly the award of that free kick was disappointing because again at 2-1 we can get the game into the final phase of the game. Germany are more thinking about getting through the game and winning the game and seeing the game out. We can obviously try and put pressure in that situation. So it is disappointing because I didn't think it was a free kick at all.
Isaac Price of late. Okay. We've spoken a lot about Isaac Price in the last 12 months, but that was another superb strike tonight.
Great finish. We felt that we could be a threat at set pieces. Justin had a great game. Terrific game playing in that position, not his natural position again, but his free kicks all night and corner kicks were great. Shea, we've got good delivery. We're probably not at our strongest physically to go and maximise that. We're missing Daniel Ballard, for example. We're missing Brodie Spencer, who are both, threats in the box and both very good in the air. So hopefully come the games in October they'll be available to us, and we might have a little bit more firepower from that point of view and be more of a threat. But it's a great finish from Isaac. He worked very hard for the team tonight. It was difficult for those players in the 10 position, because it's hard to stay on the ball and you receive the ball with a lot of pressure, but he just has that knack of obviously when he gets that opportunity he makes good contact with the ball, and it's a great finish.
We spoke about this being the hardest game on paper in this group. What do you take from tonight as you look to the rest of the campaign?
Well, I think we know that we can compete, and that's the most important thing. We're bringing two 20-year-olds and a 19-year-old off the bench. That's a big ask to come and play here against players of this calibre who play their club football at the top clubs in Europe. And so we got belief from tonight. We got hopefully confidence from tonight as well, and we have to take that obviously forward into the games in October. We'll play a Slovakian team who are obviously full of confidence after 2 wins, and a Germany team that know that obviously the game in Belfast will be tough, but we have to make it as tough as possible for them.
Jay-Z and Jonathan.
Just, I suppose, looking at the two games as a whole, Michael, how much can you take from the two performances?
Yeah, look, as I've said, I said at the start of the trip, if we go home with 3 points, we'll have had a good trip. If we go home with more than that, we'll have had a great trip. And the thing is, we probably felt we were on the verge of going home after a great trip. We felt that and we had settled into the game. We spoke about it at half time. We got through the start of the second half. So, look, when we reflect on it, look, we're in the group, we're competing, you know, I think we'll get a lot out of this trip because it's where we're, you know, it's very difficult to play Germany, a nation of our size, but it's very difficult when you have to play them in the second game. Like, Julian was able to make 5 changes to his team. We don't have that luxury to be able to do that. So, as I say, when we reflect on it, there'll be a lot more positives for us to take from this trip.
Just how important is that belief for the players to show that you can mix it with one of the footballing heavyweights?
Football's all about levels, and so, you know, we have players who don't play their club football. You know, we had 3 players start the game and play at League One level. So they get confidence from performing on this stage. And when you go in against players who play their club football at top levels and play for a big nation, and you can handle the game, then you grow as a player. And hopefully the younger players, and there's a number of younger players in our squad, you know, believe that will give them the belief that they can handle the game at this level.
Injuries have obviously been an issue coming into this window. We're pleasing obviously to get it boys back for the next game as well, but it's been a good show of depth probably as well.
Well, depth, I'm not sure really. You know, we're bringing lads on who aren't starters for the clubs, so I'm not sure we would call that depth. I would call that where we are with options at this minute in time. They're young players. So at the moment we're asking boys at times to do a man's job, and they're doing it very commendably. But we probably need a bit of help. You know, we have 4 or 5 players unavailable to us in this trip that won't all be starting players for us, but they'll give us better options maybe off the bench than what we've had in this trip. And what you see in the international game now is that these games are they're 16-man games. So, you know, both teams, I think, use 5 substitutes. We use 5 in the first game. So you need those players who can get you through the game, or they can give you that spark in the last 20 minutes. And unfortunately, you know, we were a little bit light on numbers for these 2 games.
Thanks, Jonathan. Any more questions from the back? Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you.